feeling down? Is the world overwhelming you? Do you feel like the pressures of everyday life are too much? Are you struggling to succeed in a meaningful way? Well, have I got the TED Talk for you? I've listened to so many inspirational speakers over my times at school that I'm pretty much an expert on success. It's simple. If you can follow these 3 easy, generic steps, then you'll be a successful, miserable person in no time. Firstly, ignore your problems. Dealing with issues in your life is difficult. Just pretend they don't exist. That definitely won't come back to harm your mental health in the future. Secondly, have a positive attitude. Being unhappy is bad. If you ever feel down, then you are a failure. To be a success, you have to have a positive outlook and be happy constantly. Thirdly, and most importantly, find your big idea. The only way that a person could possibly be successful in life is by being the next big thing. If you don't start a life-saving charity, find the cure for cancer, or become a multi-millionaire corporate owner, then you're a failure and nobody will love you. With these 3 easy steps, you'll be a miserable success in no time. See, these are the messages which we are teaching our children. I'm not making this stuff up. Positive attitude talks and big ideasm have become a part of our students' lives. We are taught not to find a purpose in life, but to find success in life. That in a world of over 6 billion people, we have to stand out to be worthwhile. We are told what success is and what we should do to achieve it. Never once do we bother to talk about the lives of those who don't stand out. Never once do we bother to talk about what's actually important to you. But the people who don't stand out make up the majority of our population. 99% of people aren't going to be famous entrepreneurs, CEOs, or politicians, nor are they going to be criminals. Most of the population are going to be, well, normal. And we don't talk about that enough. How many articles do you see about regular, everyday people? Why is a person who settles down and works a fulfilling job with a partner and kids not seen as being as much of a success as someone who studies law at Harvard and goes on to become a judge? We view success as material or visible. We overlook personal success and deem it as unimportant when compared to success which people can see. We promote flawless success, or success which may have been tough to achieve but was done against all odds. The only sort of success which our society promotes is that of perfect people. People who are destined to succeed. We don't talk about the fact that not everybody is perfect. One of the major problems which our youth are facing is trying to find a purpose in life, trying to find meaning in a world where we are constantly bombarded by information, from social media, from our schools, from our parents, from our friends. Well, I'm not going to bombard you with information. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life or what you should and shouldn't be doing. But instead, I'm going to tell you what you could be doing. The first thing which we should be trying to do is accept that everybody is different. Everybody has their own trials and problems, no matter who they are. No one person is inherently better than another, and nobody is perfect. No matter how appearances may seem, we are all human. We are multi-dimensional people with our own life stories and journeys. Everybody here is learning to fly in some way or another. We are all finding our place in this world, no matter how old we are. Nobody is perfect. We are all beautiful, brilliant, imperfect people with flaws and struggles and problems. Hiding these struggles away, pretending that we are perfect people, is dangerous. This myth of perfection, which we so often hear about, the person who struggled at high school but has gone on to become the perfect business person, or the lower socioeconomic child who grew up to start a multi-million-dollar charity, is hurting the healthy development of our youth's ambition. We make those who don't wish to be the top 1% feel inadequate, as if they are somehow letting down society for not wanting to fit this perfect, near unobtainable mold. Labeling people as perfect sets unrealistic standards for our youth to reach. It builds feelings of resentment and inadequacy towards those who they perceive to be doing better than them. Why not instead promote a message of understanding and normalizing? Understanding that everybody has their own struggles and should be looked on with compassion, not jealousy. Normalizing your right to choose your own direction in this ever-changing world. Because even those who are deemed by society to be perfect have their own problems, their own struggles. Aspiring to be someone you're not, measuring yourself against this perception of perfect, will not bring you happiness. The only person who you should be trying to impress and measure yourself against in this world is you. What makes you happy? What makes you feel successful? There is no greater purpose or meaning in life than what you give it. Yes, some people may seem better than you, more perfect than you. But that doesn't matter. Because if you're doing what makes you feel successful, what makes you feel like your life is worthwhile, then who cares what makes other people think that you're successful? Someone else's success isn't mutually exclusive with your own. Compassion for all people and understanding of what makes them happy is more important than animosity and jealousy of others. Don't wish to be perfect. Wish to be the best version of yourself who you can be. See, this concept of perfect versus damaged people segregates our society. Separating people into groups of us versus them is dangerous, as it only builds hatred, not understanding and respect. Not only must we allow ourselves to find our own purpose, but accept that other people will as well. We may all be in different boats, but we are heading towards the same destination of happiness and purpose. Trying to take down someone else's boat will not only slow their path to happiness, but damage your own. If we keep on this path of labeling people as good and bad, privileged and unprivileged, all we are doing is segregating ourselves from others. Life is about building each other up, not taking each other down. It should not be us versus them in any sense of the word. For society needs to work, we need to have a collective goal of happiness and purpose. Understanding and recognizing those who are more and less privileged is important. It allows us to help those who need it most. What it shouldn't do, however, is label an entire group of people as inferior based purely on conditions out of their control. We must embrace and build up those who are disadvantaged, not take down those who are doing well. Even if we may not have all gone through the same struggles in life, that doesn't mean that we can't understand each other. We are all part of the same society and are ultimately searching for the same thing, even if we take different routes of getting there. We should focus on understanding the lessons of others rather than discounting their knowledge. Even if you can't relate personally to someone's life story, that doesn't mean you can't find value in their struggles. On your journey through life, it's about doing what's best for you while still helping others along the way. Not simply tolerating each other, but helping each other. Each one of us here today speaking to you has come from very different beginnings. We've had different experiences, different ups and downs. I have spent my life as the perfect child, the A+ student. I've struggled to accept my abilities, viewing any success which I've had as simply a case of luck or charm, being able to convince people that I'm intelligent when I'm really not. I've struggled with my sexuality, as so many young people do these days. Would I ruin my image of being perfect by coming out? Would I be able to succeed in a way which society deems acceptable if I showed people who I truly am? I've overcome these challenges by and large simply teaching myself not to care about what other people may think. I have chosen to do what is best for me, not what is best for my image. What I have struggled with pales in comparison to others. I lead a very privileged life, but that doesn't mean that I can't listen to and engage with those who have struggled. We shouldn't be building barriers between people. We shouldn't be labeling people into groups of who do and don't have the ability to understand and empathize with others. I love each and every one of my brothers and sisters in this world. We are all multidimensional beings. We are not simply black and white. Condensing people down into stereotypes and generalizations creates division and misunderstanding between people. We don't live in a society of extremes, even though it may sometimes seem that way. We don't live in a world where everybody is either good or bad. We are all shades of grey, and as such, we are all unique. That uniqueness is what we should be encouraging. But, as I said earlier in this talk, we have a tendency as a society to interpret this uniqueness as a need to stand out, to prove that you're different by some amazing feat, to find success in the eyes of society. Well, I will not tell you this. You have nothing to prove to anyone. There is no one more important in your life than you. That is not to say be selfish. That is to say look after yourself. Find your own purpose and do what gives you meaning. What's your big ideasm that's touted by so many inspirational speakers these days doesn't work for the majority of people. Incredible feats aren't what make you as a person valuable. You don't have to do something revolutionary to be successful. These messages harm the healthy mental well-being of our youth, as we can't all do exceptional things. Yet that doesn't mean that we can't all be happy. See, normal is normal for a reason, because it's what most people do. This is more than just some theoretical concept. We see the results of this intense pressure to succeed in the societal sense of the word all throughout our society. From the over-the-top number of university students we are seeing, to the severe mental health problems which stem from feelings of inadequacy amongst our youth. There's a fantastic ad on TV at the moment in which a child is being scorned by his parents for wanting to do a trade. They tell him how much of a disappointment he is, and that even though his brother is 25, jobless and lives at home, at least he has a degree. This is exactly the message which we are pushing to our youth. To be successful, you have to have a degree. You have to be an outlier. You have to be different. You can't just be normal. Well, I won't tell you that today, because being normal is normal, and that's okay. Nobody can tell you what should or shouldn't give your life meaning. I once, as a 4-year-old, asked the man who pumped our home's rural sewage tank how he could possibly want to pump other people's sewage for a living. And I'll always remember what he said to me. He told me that judging by my question, it's probably not the job I wanted to grow up and do. But for him, it pays for the food which he puts on the table for his family. It gives him something to do, and it gives him a purpose in life. And I believe that they are words to live by. I am not leading the same life as that man. I do not believe that doing his job would make me personally happy. But I sure do respect him, and understand that if that's what gives his life purpose, then who am I to judge? Society needs a middle ground. Without plumbers, without builders, without sewage pumpers, then our society wouldn't function. So why do we judge them? Why do we so often think of some jobs as inferior to others? We are all humans. We all have our different motivations and meanings. A plumber is no better or worse than a politician or a businessman. Life is normal, and that's okay. You go out there and be normal. Be the best version of yourself who that can be. If being the best version of yourself includes seeking what society deems as successful, then great. But if it doesn't, that's great too. If we can shift our focus as a society away from seeing success as purely material and visible, and instead see success as an individual's personal success, then we will not only see happier people, but a better society. Now, often talks like this leave you with lofty, unachievable goals. You hear about systemic poverty or the problems of climate change and are left concerned but unable to make any noticeable difference? Well, not this talk. Each and every one of you here today is able to change your perception of success. Each and every one of you here today is able to search for what makes you happy and what gives your life purpose. Whether you're an A+ student or a D-, you deserve to be happy. Nobody in this world knows what makes you feel successful better than you. Let go of what society expects from you and instead decide, what do you expect from yourself? So go out there. Find what makes you happy. Understand and respect others. And most importantly, be yourself. And don't let anybody else tell you who you should be. Thank you.